You've already won an argument that ended 9 years ago, more than once. Lights off, room quiet, and there it is again. Your boss finally hears the resignation speech you wrote in your head at 2 a.m. No stutter this time. You don't even need the job anymore. Someone who left texts back. Not the version who left, the version who's sorry. The group finds out what actually happened, and for once, you're the one who gets the apology. None of it happened. All of it feels like it just did. And it doesn't wait for the lights to go off. It happens in the shower, in traffic, mid-meeting, while someone's still talking, and you're already 3 replies into an argument you're not even having. The body stays still. Somewhere behind the eyes, there's a version of the day where every unfinished thing finally finished, and you won all of it. That doesn't make you strange. It makes you someone whose mind refuses to leave a door open. There are 4 real reasons your mind does this: psychology, biology, a little neuroscience. Stick around, land on 2 of them, and you'll finally know why yours won't switch off. Case 1. The Zeigarnik effect. You can replay an argument from 6 years ago, word for word. You can't remember what you had for dinner on Tuesday. That's not a broken memory, it's a rule. Unfinished things take up more room in the mind than finished ones. An open tab it refuses to close. An unanswered text. A comeback that arrived 3 hours too late. The mind hates loose ends. So when reality won't provide an ending, it writes one. That's why the fantasies are never random. They're always about closure, victory, being understood. You're not escaping the room. You're finishing a sentence reality left hanging. That's the ex who finally texted back sorry. You already met that file 30 seconds ago, and that's just the first file. The next one is stranger. Case 2. The dopamine preview effect. The mind doesn't only enjoy getting a reward, it enjoys imagining one. Picture the moment someone finally chooses you, or you finally win. Nothing happened, and it still felt good. Because the brain releases dopamine not just on reward, but on the anticipation of it. That's the trap. Imagination is cheap. The real version costs effort. Some nights, the fantasy is simply easier to afford than the work. Which raises a harder question. What is the fantasy actually replacing? Case 3. The mind fills what reality left out. The ones who imagine the most aren't the strangest people in the room. They're usually the ones carrying the most unsaid things. Someone who wanted to be understood better. Someone who wanted to be chosen. When those needs go unmet outside, the mind quietly starts meeting them inside. The lonely one imagines company. The ignored one imagines finally being seen. The hurt one imagines the apology that never came. This isn't running from the world. It's the mind handing you what the world forgot to. That's the friend group who finally found out the truth. Not a coincidence. That's the ignored one finally seen. Which means the last file isn't about what your mind adds. It's about what it learned to prepare for. Case 4. Rehearsal isn't planning. It's an old form of protection. Some of us script the conversation 3 times before it happens. We call it being careful. But that habit rarely starts with one nerve-wracking talk. It starts earlier, in a place where the mood could shift without warning, and knowing what was coming wasn't intelligence. It was survival. The mind learned to calculate 5 moves ahead, because not calculating once had a cost. It never forgot. That's the resignation speech that never stutters. Not confidence, this file. If any of these 4 found you, there's a second episode already circling this same territory. I'll leave it where you can find it. So if you're the one still finishing that speech to your boss, still waiting on that text, still collecting the apology nobody actually gave you, you're not broken. You're not the only file open in this precinct. Maybe you weren't heard the way you needed. Maybe there's a version of you that never got to finish the sentence. So your mind built a room where it could. As long as it stays behind your eyes and not in anyone's way, that's not weird. That's just what it looks like. Being someone who felt things all the way through. If this case felt familiar, the precinct's always open. Subscribe, and I'll see you at the next file.